all in today first session. And with this small introduction, I am handing over the session to you for your presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Verma. And once again, thanks to you, Dr. Singh, and your entire team at HRDC at Mizoram University. It's like a homecoming. Last time also, I think it was a wonderful experience a couple of months back during the previous FIP. And I look forward to all the esteemed professors who are part of this FIP today for your active cooperation, because we all are in the same domain of higher education in different parts of our country. And I think the next 1 hour, 1.5 hours, we will try and just interact and share our thoughts, experiences, and all. So with sir's permission, I will just request all of you, since we are meeting just for the first 5 minutes, if we can just go and have a quick introduction from some of the participants. We'll start with alphabetical A. Anybody who is in a convenient position to unmute, please just briefly about
actually, sir,
yes, sir.
sir.
Yes.
Last time also, no, they cannot communicate directly. They are in webinar mode. Okay,
oh,
I
I see.
policy of our HRDC last time.
Okay.
Also. So you have to
sure.
communicate with chat box only.
Sure. We'll do that. Thank you so much, sir. So I'll just request all of you, please keep an eye on the chat box, as sir has reminded all of us. So we will get your feedback as we move forward by way of little bit of messages in the chat box, and then we will try and also get to see your raise of hands if that option is given. So let's start the session today. And as I'm going to share the screen, I will expect Dr. Singh also to kindly just, last time sir was very helpful. Please confirm, sir, whether it's visible to you, so that I hope it will be visible for every participant. So I'm just sharing the first title slide of today's session. I hope, sir, it's visible to you.
Yes,
thank you. Once again, a very good morning, and I welcome all esteemed professors from different parts of India to this faculty induction program conducted by HRDC at Mizoram University. And we all know that this is part of Guru Dakshita, and to be exact and specific, I think I'll touch upon module 3 and 5. Module 3 talks about teaching, learning, and assessment, and Module 5 talks about a little bit of personal and emotional development and counseling. So blending those two modules, I think the focus of today's session will be something which hopefully as academician, we will be able to relate, connect, and give our thoughts also. So life skills and mentoring strategies for academician in 21st century. I think irrespective of our different domain that we come from, whether we talk about pure science, or we talk about little bit of humanities, we talk about commerce, management, I think as academician, all of us have to focus on life skills. That's very important when we try and maybe meet our students. Similarly, I think mentoring is something which UGC is giving a lot of emphasis. And I thought of that this will be something which all of us will be able to connect. So just try and make use of the chat box. I'll just put a request there and then wait for my request. And then I think I will expect a quick response from all the professors, whoever is in a position to do that. Just wait for me. The topic of today's session, that is what I am putting up in the title slide. To kindly check and then confirm. So just in a short yes or no, you can write Y or N also. If the topic of the session for the next 1.5 hours is clear to all of you, because yes, I think that will be a quick response we'll expect from all the esteemed professors, because we normally plan to have a lot of role playing also. The fastest response coming from, I think, Professor Aditya, then we have Professor Narom. Thank you, Professor Shantanu Ghosh. Welcome to the session. Professor Priyanka also giving a yes. Professor Shukanta Mazumdar, thank you, sir, for your response. And I think while you are responding, I think as we move on gradually, we'll come to know a little bit about your interest in life. So आप थोड़ा brief में अगर लिख देंगे कि what exactly is your interest in life, apart from your core discipline, your research interest, your academics, that's fine. But what other interest in life you have? Briefly, it can be anything. It can be maybe something to do with creative activities, some kind of social work. So please write that in the chat box. So I will request that. Wait for me to put that request, and then I think in life, because the session will be on life skills. So interest in life along with your discipline, like maybe commerce, science, maths, Bengali, Hindi, whatever. So please, you can just put that in the chat box. Thank you. So my request is interest in life, because today's session will be on life skills. So it will be wonderful if I get to know from you what are your interest in life apart from your specific domain. So let's try and see. Creative writing. Thank you, Professor Kundu. I think wonderful. Along with that, if you can write your discipline, whether you're from English or maybe some other discipline like history, political science, whatever is your core area. So Professor Priyanka is saying exploring new skills. Thank you. Geography from Professor Tanushree Kundu. Thank you, ma'am. Professor History, yes, we are having English department also. Professor Priyanka, English Literature. Okay. Thank you. I am waiting for a few more responses to come our way. And because today's session will be focusing on, yes, political science and your interest in life, that will be wonderful. Yes, Aditya, Professor Aditya is saying political science, environmental science, Professor Arundhati Ganguly. Thank you. We have Professor Deepika, Commerce. And ma'am, what is your interest? If you kindly write briefly in life. Professor Deepika, that will be wonderful. We have Professor Sanjeev from Biotechnology. Thank you for that. Along with that, if you mention your interest in life, that will be also wonderful in the bracket. Thank you. We move on. I think as I expected, I am from dance stream. I love to have, okay, choreographer and all. Thank you. I think that's wonderful. Very creative professors also are here. Assamese is there. Yes, Professor Niharika. Thank you. So I think keep giving your inputs in the chat box as we move forward, and I'll take the slide forward. And then we'll come back and just have a look about the next slide. So this was a session, a topic, what I thought of sharing today. So when we talk about it, let's try and spend a few minutes on this. There is a saying that if you can dream it, you can do it. So on this note, I think I will expect you to briefly put yes or no, maybe not sure. What's your take? How do you connect with this? Do you believe in it? If there is a dream, if you can dream it, then you can do it. So let's once again check the chat box. You can write maybe yes, no, or whatever comes to your mind, because this is something very, very meaningful when we talk about it. And I can see, yes, already Professor Priyanka had said yes, Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay had said yes. Thank you, both of you, ma'am. Yes, Professor Abu had said yes, Professor Shantanu had said yes. Because if we really think that, yes, we connect with this, I think the follow-up a portion of the slide will even give it a little bit more meaning. So what is a dream? When we meet our students in the classroom or maybe outside the classroom. So I think they all come with their dream, whether they are coming for undergraduate programs or maybe some kind of a postgraduate or even for their research endeavor. So in that context, I think we have to try and guide them and tell them. And I'm confident that we daily do it. So let's try and focus on what exactly is a dream. So when we talk about dream, I came across this and I totally agree and follow it. When we talk about dream, I will just try and place before you the famous thought of our ex-honorable president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, where it was said that dream is not what you see in sleep, is the thing which doesn't let you sleep. And if you spend at least a half a minute on this slide, I hope you will get the essence, because many a times we come across a lot of things when we sleep, but that's not a true dream. What is a dream according to Professor Abdul Kalamji was, yes, it's something which doesn't let one sleep. So on this note also, again, I will expect you to try and write you agree or disagree or have a difference of opinion. So just write if you agree with this thought process, what is dream? And then you can write yes, I agree, or you can say no, I don't agree also, because both the sides of the coin are totally, you are free to give that. Once again, I think Professor Mukhopadhyay had given the response. She said totally agree. Thank you. Strongly agree from Professor Shantanu Ghosh. And I hope the professors, Professor Priyanka is there. She's saying definitely yes. Thank you. I think yes, we can see Professor. Yes, the rest of you are also giving a positive response. Professor Sanjeev also saying agree. Thank you for that quick response. Professor Ganguly is saying agree. Thank you. Because you see, a lot of time we see that our students somehow they have some kind of a dream, they share it with us during the course of mentoring and all. So we have to try and guide them, remind them about this kind of a thought process. So let's move forward. And I think as we talk about dreams and all, the next question, as the session is on life skills, is automatically that is going to come is how do we take our life forward? So do we live for years, months, or days? So I will leave it for you to think for 30 seconds. Don't answer. Just take 30 seconds time and try to look at what exactly is the question. So do we live for years? Do we live for months or days? So I'll just try and request all of you. So just keep an eye in the chat box, and then I think we can move forward with this. So just hang on for my request, and then you are most welcome to put your views in the chat box. So just a second, please. And then you are most welcome to give your thoughts. Or something else also. So kindly just check the chat box and then so please check this and give your response. Yes, now I think you can. Do we live for years? Do we live for months? Or do we live for days or something else? So I will expect you to give briefly how you take your life forward. That will be interesting to see in the chat box. Yes, please. Let me check what the esteemed professors actually had to offer on this point. So can you check the chat box and give your responses, please? One day at a time. That's from Professor Kundu. Thank you. Professor Shreya is saying days. She like to take one day at a time. Very good. I think Professor, yes, is it Professor Bonti Hazarika is saying days. Thank you, Professor. I think Aradhana is saying days. That's wonderful, because you see, we academician, how we try and take our life forward. The next response, I think, is Professor Shantanu Ghosh is saying days. Okay. Professor Sheetal is saying days. Professor Ganguly also mentioned days. Professor Priyanka is saying life is not measured in terms of days or years, but in terms of deeds, according to me. Very well said, ma'am. Thank you for that wonderful observation. Yes, Professor Deepika is saying, I want to live every day, but practically we live at weekends. Wonderful, very true. Professor, I think Bora had said days, one day each. New step from Professor Vijay Lakshmi. Any more responses? Because you see, when we talk about our life, it's the way we try and live it. There is no hard and fast rule, as we can figure it out. Professor Niharika is saying days. Dr. Niharika, thank you. Anybody else in a position to give your thoughts? That will be wonderful, because I can see a lot of responses coming. Professor Arpita Shaha, welcome, ma'am, and she's also saying days. So a lot of the esteemed professors have given different takes, and a lot of people have said days. A few of you have said a little bit of years, and maybe something else also, one day at a time, as Professor Kundu had said. So let's move forward, and I think if no more responses are there, we can just take the slide forward, and I think we can proceed further. Yes, so this was a slide, I hope, which was visible to all of you, and I requested you to give your thoughts on this. So do we live for years? Do we live for months or days? Or for that matter, I think you can have a different way of looking at it. That's every day, I think, can be even broken down into some kind of spatial moments. So I think that also is another way of looking at it, as I said, or something else. So I think there are moments in life jiske liye we might think of living. So it's a little bit our own life, our thought process, and how we go about doing it. So that's important. So on this note, if I request you to kindly just think for a minute, and I know there might be lot of success that you have tested by now, and in future also you are going to test. So any special memorable moment from your life? I'm saying life because the session today is on life skills, not just your career, your profession, your academic sphere, but life. As we came across that you have diverse interest in life. So I will request you to kindly just maybe look in the chat box and give me a response. Any memorable moment from your life that you'd like to share? I think in brief, it's a very, very important thing that you still happen to remember or you can recall. So that will be wonderful. So kindly just check any memorable moment, any success which you have tasted. There might be many, but jiske baare mein you'd like to briefly mention in the chat box, and all the professors, hopefully you'd like to share with everybody. So it may not be very huge, but I think little things are also very important. So can you just quickly check the chat box, and if you happen to remember anything, it can be from your life, personal moments bhi ho sakta hai. It can be maybe something which you really feel very happy about. So it can be anything. Yes, I think already I can see the fastest response once again from Professor Tanushree. Thank you. I think birth of my daughter, the most memorable moment. Maybe for many of us, that might be very heart-touching, memorable. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that. I think Professor Ghosh deserve our appreciation, winning Young Scientist Award. And I think we can just try and raise our hands quickly, that option, if it is working for us, because I can appreciate Professor Ghosh for that, winning the Young Scientist Award. I think I'll appreciate by raising my hand. So if you can check that button, hand raise option, and those who are in the session, I think mutual appreciation works a lot. So thank you, Professor Ghosh, for sharing that. Uh, yes, I think Professor Dr. Vijay Lakshmi is talking about some kind of a physical disabled, yes, started to walk. I think, yes, that's wonderful. Still, she happened to remember that. Wonderful. My university years, Professor Parveen is referring to, hopefully very memorable, very special. That's why I think it's still on the top of the mind. Professor Maji is talking about birth of my son. It's very special. And I think Dr. Niharika is saying, yes, a baby little girl, and Dr. Niharika, thank you. These are all moments from our life. I think we can remember. When I see the face of child for the first time as mother, that is Professor Ganguly also, special, memorable feeling. And next we move on, I think professionally completing of my PhD from JNU, New Delhi. Okay, that is from Professor Tanushree Kundu also, both personal and professional. Okay, and then happiness of my parents to see my first year. Okay, result when I was studying BSc, Professor Mukhopadhyay, Shreya Mukhopadhyay. I think this is something special when we try and make our parents or maybe near and dear ones feel really proud about our deeds, achievement, and all. Yes, that's very true. We have when I join an university. Yes, a doctor. I think Devi is talking about joining university. Thank you. I think that is very true. If anything connected with your profession, so I think the next slide will talk about it. This is a special moment, a memorable moment. Fine. Yes, I think Professor Sheetal Singh talking about clearing NET and then joining service, which is really very special moment. I think wonderful. So we move on, and I think this list will go on. Now, when we talk about the next slide, I will expect all of you to kindly just keep an eye on this, because जब हम students के पास जाते हैं, when we do little bit of mentoring, not just in terms of our coverage of syllabus, but lives के बारे में, I think these are pertinent questions. We need to try and help them understand. Are we living or are we existing? Are we adding days to our life? जैसे कि today happens to be a Thursday, tomorrow will be a Friday. इस हिसाब से we go about adding a little bit of days to our life, or today happens to be a Thursday, so let's add a little bit of life to it and make it a little bit special. So this is a little bit philosophical, but I think we need to tell our students, and hopefully we do that. You see, life के बारे में बात हो रहा था, and I think life is a story, and हर किसी के life में I think whether small, big, or whatever. So there are two sides of the coin. One is success, the other one is a failure. So on that note, I think I will request you, memorable moments to pata chal gaya, but can we talk about maybe any success that we have stated as of now? So which you would like to share? Kindly just wait for me. Any success that you like to share briefly? I think some of you already talked about your professional success, getting a job or maybe clearing NET, completing your PhD from a prestigious university. So you can talk about that or maybe something beyond. Those who have not given anything, I think if you're in a convenient position, you are most welcome to try and give your views in the chat box. I think that will be wonderful. So let's see, any success that you would like to talk about. May not be very big, or even if it is a huge one, that also is acceptable. So any success, I think wonderful. Professor Parveen, you deserve once again our appreciation. You see, it's your own creation, like your own baby. So getting your maybe a short story published, I think that is wonderful. I think that is a good kind of a thing which you remember. Getting the paper published in a desired journal in a professional level, I think we all do research and it gives us a lot of satisfaction, just like what Professor Priyanka had mentioned. True, ma'am. Thank you for that. When I was appointed as an assistant professor, Professor Deepika, yes, because we are in this noble profession, and I think we dreamt about it, and then we actually turned our dream into reality. So that it qualifies as a success. Thank you, Professor Deepika. I am still waiting for a few more response. If you happen to remember, you are most welcome to put it in the chat box. I think those who are able to use the chat option, I think please try and give a response. That will be wonderful. Yes, publishing a paper in a good journal with impact factor. Yes, that is what true for Professor. I think Sansam have said. Thank you very much. Publishing my writing in college magazine. Professor Mukhopadhyay had also mentioned that. Dr. Vijayalakshmi, a first student under my year's exam coaching for 6 weeks, cleared B grade officer's exam. Thank you, ma'am. I think when we see our students do well in life, not just in career, that gives us great satisfaction. That's true. I think wonderful sharing. Any other? I think I am waiting for a few more responses because when we see all this incident or maybe this real insights from life about success, whether it's directly connected to us or maybe we were there behind the scene to try and play the role of a facilitator, the guide or whatever. When I was appointed as assistant professor, thank you, Professor Ashok Kumar, for that. And I will expect you to be in the session and also please give your thoughts as we move forward. Thank you so much, sir, for that. I think you have given the voice for many who were dreaming for getting that assistant professor opportunity in a reputed college or university. Thank you. As we move forward, and I think the next thing was if these are examples of life success. So the next follow-up slide will actually make it a little bit meaningful. So let's see, when we talk about it, how was the road to success? Whether getting your job, whether maybe getting a paper published in a reputed journal, having a very good impact factor, or maybe seeing our student do well in life. So how was the road to success? Was it very smooth, very easy? Or maybe who is going to create the road for success? I think the next slide talks about that. The road to success is almost always under construction. So today also we are part of this FIP. Why? Because we want to try and take our career a little bit forward in whatever sense we talk about. So the road to success is almost always under construction. And on this note, I will put the next question for all of you. Kindly check the chat box and then you are most welcome to give your response. Kindly check the chat box and please give your responses there. Is there any shortcut to success? What is your take on this? Is there any shortcut to success from your experience of life? When you have tasted some success, so Is there any shortcut? Please give a quick response. The first test this time is coming from Professor Deepika, followed by, I think, we are getting to see Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay saying no. Professor Priyanka also echoing the same voice. Professor Arundhati Ganguly is saying no shortcut. Professor, I think yes, not at all. It's not easy from Professor Parveen. Professor Bora is saying no. Professor Sanasam is saying no. Professor, yes, Dr. Leelavati Devi is saying work hard. Absolutely spot on, ma'am. I think you are right. Priyadarshini, Professor Priyadarshini is saying no. Professor Ratan Das is saying any shortcut to success will cut short the success. True, sir. Very, very important point you have mentioned. I think, yes, smart work replacing extensive hard work is from Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. Thank you. I think please give your responses. I think that will be wonderful. We move on, and success always depends on effort and hard work. That is very meaningful from Professor Ajay Kumar. Thank you, sir. Professor Shital Singh is saying no. Yes, hard work is again emphasized. Dr. Shreya Mukhopadhyay is saying dream, hard work on it, passion, patience to accept rejection, smart work, etc. needed for success. Very well summed up everything. I think when we talk about this, I am really, really very happy and confident that with this kind of a mindset, every day we are actually meeting our student inside the classroom and beyond. And we are giving them the right kind of way forward by telling them, guiding them with our own examples. So, and as academician, we all agree unanimously that yes, there is no shortcut to success. So let's take it forward. And if there is no shortcut to success, I think since we all agreed on that, so let's try and look at a simple kind of success wagon wheel, I think, which will help us to try and connect with that. So our role will be basically that of a facilitator. And I think we tell our students also that, you see, you are going to be the creator of your destiny. So whatever be your dream, and we are there to guide you. We are there to just be by your side during this journey, whether we talk about a 3-year journey in undergraduate, 4-year or whatever, a 2-year in PG, or even your research journey for a couple of more years during the PhD. So this is what is there. And I think since there are no shortcut to success, I thought of just sharing this with you, which you will have a look and hopefully agree. As many of you have mentioned about work hard or smart work, so it starts all there. And then why should somebody work hard or smart? Because we need to improve. And when we need to improve, there should be a focus. If we move in a clockwise direction, I think this focus should help us to find the right path. And there should be a passion. Just like today, attending the FIP in spite of other commitments, our professional and personal commitments and all, I think it's more of our passion that has brought us here today. And you are actively taking part in the session, giving your thoughts, views, and we are exchanging our thought process. So as we move forward, there is a push. So nobody from outside has pushed you to join the FIP. Yes, we know that it's part of our career advancement as per UGC and all, but still I think the push is from within. There is an urge from within. And then we talk about a service motive. We all are in the service sector. We are serving because in our institute in Xavier's, we say that we are there to create men and women for others. So our students are going to become in future, they are going to be the leaders of the country in whatever sense. And we say that we are there to just help you to try and not just find a job for yourself, but you're going to be there for others. So that is what we are talking about, the service motive. Then there should be some kind of a unique idea, which will maybe give you an edge in this kind of a competitive situation. And as many of you have rightly mentioned in the chat box that, yes, we have to go through criticism, we have to go through rejection, and maybe at times a lot of kind of pressures and all, but we have to be persistent. And then we have to move on working hard and smart. So this is just, I think, a simple kind of a wagon wheel for success. I hope you will agree with that. Can you just show a raise of hands if you agree with what you saw just now? So I think that will give me a little bit of a confidence that yes, we all academicians believe there is no shortcut to success. And if there is no shortcut to success, I think then we need to try and start somewhere by working hard or smart. And then I think we have to carry on day in, day out. So let me check how many hand raise option are there. I can see Professor Deepika. Thank you, Professor Parveen. Thank you, Professor Priyanka. Your hand is showing up. Professor Tanushree, thank you for raising your hand. Professor Chara, welcome. I think if you can kindly make use of the chat option also and give your thoughts at times, that will be wonderful. Thank you. Dr. Vijay Lakshmi had given a response. I think Professor Bora, thank you. Professor Priyadarshini. Professor Shreya, thank you. I think as we move on long list, Professor Ratan had given Das. Professor Abu Tahir initially was there, and I think we will wonderfully move forward. And Professor Shantanu Ghosh, if you are also listening, I hope we will love to get your views also in the chat option and maybe by raising your hands and all. So let's move forward. And when we talk about this kind of a journey in life and little bit of mentoring, I think the next section is very, very interesting. And we will get into a little bit of role playing also. So let's try and take it forward. So aage badhte hai aur let's try and move forward. So yes, we were here, we were talking about success and failure. So let's try and have a look at the next slide, which talks about falling in love is easy, staying in love requires work. So I'll leave it for 10 seconds more for all the esteemed professors to have a look. And then I think we can try and get you a little bit involved in this particular point. So just have a look what exactly the slide talks about. And from there, I think we can try and get into this. So I will just share the screen with all of you, and then hopefully it is visible now. And I will request you to just look for 10 seconds and then we move on. Yes, the slide talks about falling in love is easy and staying in it requires work a little bit. So I will expect you to try and just wait for me to put that response in the chat box, and then you are most welcome to give your thoughts. So just wait a little bit and give your thoughts on that. So just wait for a second, check the request in the chat box, and then give your thoughts to it. I think we saw the slide. So my request in the chat box is, how do you connect with it? So yes, now you are most welcome to check the chat box and give your responses, please. Yes, Professor Shreya, the slide was talking about falling in love is easy and staying in it requires a little bit of work. So that was the slide, and I think I will share it once again. So let's hear from you in the chat box how you connect with that slide. So I'll show the slide once again to all of you so that you will be able to connect and put your views in the chat box. So let's see. I hope it's visible to Professor Shreya now. So just have a look, and I think that will be wonderful. Yes, we talk about this particular slide, and already I can see some messages in the chat option already put. So kindly just check carefully, and I think then we move on with the responses that are coming. Yes, the first response that came was from Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. Thank you, ma'am. And she categorically mentioned that falling in love with research is easy, but staying in love with research is tough. And I hope all of us know that we need to go through the pain of research before one starts to enjoy the fruit of research. So I think I agree with ma'am what she had said, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. Yes, Professor Shreya, Professor Tanushree had said, not just love, maintaining everything is difficult, whether it's reputation, friendship, and all. Thank you for that wonderful response. I think Dr. K.N. Yes, Krishnamurthy had said, yes, we agree. Professor Abu Tahir had said, yes, wonderful. Thank you. Professor Aditya had said, yes, thank you. Professor Priyanka is saying everything requires effort. While being in a relationship, one needs to put effort. True, ma'am. I think Professor Priyanka had also mentioned that. Professor Arundhati Ganguly said also needs mutual understanding, efforts, and lots of patience also. I think that's true. Thank you. Professor, I think Dinsha had said, yes, I agree. Professor Sansam had said agree. Thank you. I think yes, I do agree. That is Professor. I think Dr. El Kiloni. Yes, thank you. And I think yes, nurturing is essential to sustain. Yes, Professor Chara had said that. Wonderful responses are coming. We have to maintain the love relationship by giving devotion, removing egos and adjustment. That's very true from Professor Mukhopadhyay. I think wonderful. So as we move forward, I think we are seeing lots of responses coming from all of you. And that's very true that you have your own take on that particular slide. So let's try and take things forward. And hopefully as we move forward, we will try and look at the next slide and it will be a little bit meaningful for all of us. So when we talk about the next slide, it says the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So when I put up that slide, I think some of you thought about some human being, and in that context talked about it. And that's absolutely true, natural when we talk about love and all. Dr. Vijayalakshmi talked about not just in the context of any individual, but it can be with our love for research also. So that is also true. And maybe when students also get very excited initially, they try to fall in love with maybe a particular subject or a particular topic for research or something, and then staying in it with requires a lot of hard work, patience, as rightly pointed out. So this is what I think is the essence. We are moving together because we are thinking on the same line as academician, and that gives me a lot of confidence that yes, when we meet our students within or outside the classroom, I think we give them the right kind of way forward. So the next slide talks about whoever in whichever department or whatever kind of university, institute, colleges of higher education in the country. I think this is a question which is very common, and I hope I will expect a response from all of you in the chat box. So just wait for me to put that question, and then we will proceed further. We were talking about love and all. For the last almost 40 minutes, I am really loving and enjoying every moment of it. So my question is, do we love what we are doing? So kindly just give a minute to it, and please give a response in the chat box. So do we really love what we do, whatever is it, the role that we are playing daily in our place of work or maybe in life? So kindly just give your response. Do we love what we are doing? Yes, I think the fastest response already in the chat box from Professor Deepika. I love and respect my job. That's very true. Yes, Professor Nong Thombaum is saying, I do agree. Thank you. I will expect you to kindly give your response. I love my job. That is the response. Thank you very much. When I ask and request you that do we love what we do daily, whatever academic, administrative, research, and maybe beyond consultancy, जो भी हम करते होंगे, I think Professor Anindhuti Ganguly is saying, I love my job. That's, I think, the first step towards doing a great work. And I think is to love what you do, according to Steve Jobs. And I think we all agree on that. Yes, to be a teacher, I think is my dream job. And I am very happy with it and love my job. That is Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay. Thank you, ma'am, once again for your prompt response. I think we are hearing that from you. I love being a teacher, and we all are in that noble profession, touching young minds of the country. Professor Abu Taher is saying, I respect and also love my job. Thank you, sir, for that. I think Dr. Vijayalakshmi had once again mentioned push and pull of my academic and administration job is relatively, yes, nullifying my passion for the job. Okay, ma'am, I think, yes, many a times blending that kind of balancing is required. Professor Shantanu had said, yes, sir, because it is my dream job. Thank you so much. I think yes, yes, Professor Shijo had said that, sorry, correction. Professor Sheetal Singh, I love my job and success in students. So yes, that's very meaningful. Professor Priyanka is saying, yes, because teaching is the most wonderful profession. Thank you. And I think these are all the positive side of it when we talk about falling in love and maybe staying in it requires work, and whether we really are able to do good work or not. So these are all meaningful points which you are sharing. So aage badhte hai, let's try and take the session forward. And I think when we try and take the session forward, so we were exploring life, and we are now going to have some kind of a role playing exercise. And as we say that life is a game, so I hope you will not mind spending the next couple of minutes to try and play a simple game, irrespective of our profession, irrespective of our maybe different places from where we are joining the FIP, irrespective of maybe the different institute, universities, colleges. I think this is a very simple kind of a role playing. Hopefully you will like to participate in it. So just give me a quick confirmation in the chat box, and then I will try and take it forward. So I hope just a minute, please. So kindly give a response in the chat box. I hope we are warmed up for the last almost 40 minutes and ready for a role play. So can you just check the message in the chat box and give me a quick response? That will be wonderful. So quickly give a response in the chat box so that I get a response, and I will be able to try and have that role playing exercise with all of you. A simple one. Hopefully you don't have to do anything very substantial. Role playing hoga, and I will expect you to give your thoughts on that. A very simple exercise. So let's try and see how many of us are really warmed up. So the first response is from Professor Chara. Yes, let's do it. And don't worry, in between, if you think that you are feeling bored, I have a few videos for you all. So don't worry, I'll also show a few videos which will help you, as I'm man from the advertising world. So it will make a little bit of a relaxation for you. Yes, Dr. Vijayalakshmi is giving me the confidence. We can go ahead. Yes, thank you. I am ready. That is the message. Yes, Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay is saying yes. Thank you. Professor Sheetal Singh is saying yes. Professor Priyanka is saying yes. Yes, Professor Deepika, thank you, ma'am. You are all making it look very interesting. Thank you for that, because your active participation contribution is adding value to the session. Thank you, Professor Deepika, yeah, for that comment in the chat box. Thank you. Yes, Professor Sanasam is saying, let's do it. Yes. So what is the brief? If we all are ready, you have to just pay attention. So the brief is, since we all are warmed up, आपको एक slide दिखाई देगा. You are going to see a slide where there will be 3 or 4 lines. I repeat once again, there will be 3 or 4 lines. And in those lines, you have to watch carefully of about a particular alphabet, and how many times the alphabet has been repeated in those 3 or 4 lines. That number you have to put in the chat box. Can I expect a raise of hands if my brief is clear? In the next slide, you will see 3 or 4 lines. In those 3 or 4 lines, a particular alphabet will be repeated in some words and all. So you have to find out how many times that particular alphabet is repeated. So that is what you have to find out, and then put the number. Suppose say, for example, I am asking you to see how many times the alphabet A is repeated in those 4 or 5 lines. And if you count and see that it is repeated 5 times, so you have to write 5. So in the chat box. So that is a simple role playing we will do. So let me see how many hands have gone up who are right now in the session. Yes, Professor Parveen is there. Professor, yes, Lilavati, Dr. Lilavati Devi is there. I think Professor Priyanka, Professor, yes, Moyon is there. Professor Arundhati Ganguly. Thank you, Dr. Vijayalakshmi. Professor Abu Taher. Thank you. Professor Tanushree Kundu is there. Thank you very much. I think the rest, hopefully, if you are not able to raise your hands, but you are willing to take part in the role playing, you are most welcome. So don't write the answer any moment right now. Wait for me to show the slide. After that, wait, don't immediately give the answer. I'll put the question and then you are going to write the answer. So let's get ready. All of us are going to just check it carefully, and then we will try and write the answer. So the slide is coming for all of you. And after looking at the slide, then only you are going to wait for me to put the question in the chat box, and then we will proceed further. So let's try and do it. I hope we are all ready now, and here comes the role-playing exercise. Not the present slide. This is just a trailer. Say, for example, you don't have to figure out anything. अगर ये slide आपको दिखाई देता, then I would have asked, भाई बोलिए तो क्या क्या दिखाई दे रहा है? So you should have told me whatever you saw. You can say that there are pictures of 3 people who are running. You can say that somebody is holding a football in his hand. So like this. So this is just a trailer. So let's go to the actual role-playing slide. And I think what we have to look is a particular alphabet. So which alphabet we have to watch out for? We have to watch out for alphabet F. So how many times the alphabet F is repeated in the next 3 or 4 lines? So that is the question. So we have to count for alphabet F. If you see there are only 2 times it is repeated. So you have to write 2 in the chat box. If you see 3, you have to write 3. So that is what the brief is. Only condition apply is we will play in real time, and I will keep it only for 10 seconds. So watch out carefully. And please, as we remind our students many a times, we have to be very honest, and we will play it in real time to enjoy the role playing. So let's move forward. No screenshot, nothing. So here comes those 3.5 lines, and your time starts now. So how many times the alphabet F is repeated in those sentences? So just watch out, and I think yes. So here comes, I think, the slide. Let's check. Yes, it's in front of us, all of you. Your time starts now. 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now wait for me to put the question in the chat box, and how many Fs we saw. So that was the question. So all of you are free to give your response. The fastest finger happens to be, I think, yes, let me see who is the fastest. Professor Parveen. Yes, with 5 Fs, he saw. Professor Sheetal saw 4. Thank you. Professor Abu saw 5. Yes, Professor Abu 5. We are moving ahead. We are seeing Professor Chara saw 3. Okay. Professor Deepika saw 2. Let's move forward. Professor Shreya saw 4 Fs. Good. Professor Priyanka is saying I could see 4. That's great. I think next one, let me check. Doctor, yes, Kiloni saw L. Kiloni saw 2. Thank you. Priyadarshini, Professor Priyadarshini saw 2. Professor Bora saw 5. Okay. Professor Arundhati Ganguly saw 3. Yes, Professor Sijo saw 2. So you see, all academicians, we saw the same thing, but I think the answers are a little bit different. So that is beauty of this role-playing exercise when we talk about it. Any more responses? Dr. Kundu has said 4 as of now. So I think we all were really warmed up, and I hope everybody is confident. You can write if you are confident with your answer. That will be wonderful. Or you want to change your answer. So I will just see how many of you are very confident that whatever you saw is absolutely fine. Yes, Dr. Vijayalakshmi saw 3. Okay, good. And I think, let me see how many professors are very confident. Can you write, I'm confident? Whatever, yes, Professor Tanushree. With confident, you write the number once again. Just number of Fs you saw, and you are confident. Yes, Professor Aditya, not the red one. वो capital wala F छोड़िए, so not that one. So Professor Tanushree is saying confident with 4 Fs. Okay. Dr. Wangler is saying yes, confident with 3. Okay. Professor Parveen is saying confident with 5 Fs. Okay. Professor Sanasam is saying I'm confident with 3. So everybody is confident, but I think the answers are different. That's the beauty. Okay, let's move forward. Professor Tanushree is saying 3 Fs if the red F is not to be counted. Yes, the red F is not counted. That was just the question. But those 3.5 lines, how many times we saw the alphabet F being repeated? That was a question. So Professor Priyanka is saying confident with 4. Okay. Wonderful. So any more responses? I think all the professors are sounding very confident. Professor Arpita. Dr. Arundhati Ganguly is saying not confident, waiting for the surprise. Yes, ma'am. There are a lot of surprises, as you can see in the chat box. All our esteemed professors seeing the same thing. I think they are writing a different thing. So surprise thoda rehne dijiye, bana rehne dijiye. We will disclose it little later on. And I think I will request you on this note, we will request you for this, for another question in the chat box. And then we will watch a small video. How important is trust in life? So can you just put a message if you think it's important, right? Yes, important. Or if you think, no, it's not at all important, then also you are most welcome to give your thoughts. I will come back to Professor Arundhati's comment that waiting for the surprise. Yes, we will disclose that little later on. So do we think that trust is important? Let me see what the esteemed professor is sharing on this. Professor Aditya is saying highly important. Dr. Wangler is saying very important. Yes, Professor Sanasam is saying very important. Thank you. Yes, I think Dr. P. Devi is saying, sir, please share from your side if how many. Okay, definitely we'll do that. Don't worry. I think we'll do that. The next follow-up question is how important is trust? Dr. Vijayalakshmi is saying vital. Thank you. I think Professor Chara is saying essential. Yes, Professor Parveen is saying important. So, and on this note, since it's very important, we all agree, or maybe it is very, very vital. So let's watch a small video. I hope you'll not mind watching a small video about how important is trust. So a chota sa video only for 20 seconds, and hopefully you will get the essence. Trust is very important everywhere. So let's try and show you that small video. Give me a second, and hopefully if you watch it for 10-20 seconds, you will enjoy it. So just give me a second, and then we move forward, and we see how important is trust. So that part we will come back and take it forward. So here comes a small video only for 20 seconds, which talks about the importance of trust and transparency, maybe in a different way. So let's watch it, and I hope you all will be able to see it as well as hear the sound. So let's yes, about to share that video with all of you. Hopefully you'll be able to watch it in real time. So let's see. I will request you, did you hear the audio? Can you just put a yes in the chat box if you heard the audio along with the video, because I think that needs a, yes, fine, thank you. So just watch it now. Thank you, don't have to give any more response. So I think watch it and enjoy it, please. चलिए देखते हैं.
Wait. There's something I want to tell you. -2.
Even I have something to tell you.
Lasting relationships are based on transparency, like what Geojit BNB Paribas shares with 4.5 lakh customers. Benefit from transparency.
I hope we all saw the video, and hopefully it was a very short one. And I hope you'll be able to give a response in the chat box when it comes to about trust and transparency. So I hope we got what exactly is it. So can you just put a response? Did you like that video? Because it talks about trust and transparency between a company and its customer also, not just in your personal life, maybe among family members, among friends, but also in our case between a professor or a teacher and a student. So I think this talks about in a lighter sense before the starting of a new relationship, how important it is to be trust and transparency. And I think, yes, I can see a few responses in the chat box. Yes, Professor Ganguly had given, Professor Bora had said agree. Yes, Professor Arpita had said agree. Thank you. Because I think Professor Priyadarshini had said agree. Because everywhere when we talk about mentoring of students and all, so I think the fundamental backbone of everything is trust and transparency. And you all agree that yes, it's vital, it is very important. So on that note, I think since we are warmed ourselves up and we are more or less hopefully in the session full-fledged, so we will take it forward and try and move forward with a few more examples and case studies. So let's try and take the slide forward. And yes, I can see Professor K.N. Krishnamurthy saying, yes, sir, we need to be more trustworthy and highly transparent. Yes, true. And every day I think is a new day, and we are all working towards it in whatever way possible. So let's try and take the session forward, and I will expect you to please continue with the good kind of interaction response you are giving it. So let's try and put forward another role playing in a very simple way, and I hope you will have to do something very, very simple. So let's watch out for the next portion, which talks about so you have to mention the color or colors of the dress. A picture of a dress will be shown to you. So we have to watch it, and then I think you have to give your response about the color of the dress. So let's try and move forward to that particular slide. And I hope you all are able to see the slide. Yes. So here comes the next role-playing exercise, and we will see a picture, and you have to find out and write in the chat box once I put the question, what exactly the color or colors of the dress you noticed. So once again, time will be 10 seconds. So watch out carefully, and like last time, it will be on real time. So here comes the picture. You have to watch carefully and tell us in the chat box what exactly the color or colors of the dress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So please wait for me, I think, and then please put your response. Colors of the dress, what you saw. So whatever color you noticed in the dress, you are most welcome to write. The fastest response, once again, I think, gray and black from Professor Parveen. Thank you. We have Professor Aditya talking about the next blue and gray. Thank you. Sky blue and gray, Professor Deepika. Yes, blue and black, Professor Priyanka. Yes, we are seeing Professor Tanushree also writing blue and black. Thank you, Professor Priyadarshini, blue and gray. Blue, black and gray, Dr. Wangler. Thank you. I think Dr. Kiloni is writing gray and blue, black and blue, gray and blue. Oh, yes. So more or less, I think sky blue and black from Professor Aradhana. Thank you. Please give your responses. Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay is saying a little bit of olive green and gray combination. There is a different answer, and I think very well written by Professor Bora. White and gray. I think white is something she's Professor Bora, I think, is watching out some kind of a white. Please keep note of that. I think then we move on to Professor Sheetal Singh is saying gray and black. White and green. Once again, white is written by Professor Arpita. Any more response? Anybody seeing something golden or maybe some other colors? I think you are most welcome to write, because Professor Sheetal Singh had also given. Thank you. Any more responses? Because many of us are seeing a similar color, but one or two of us, if there are more respondents who have seen it and also given their views in the chat box, we might get to see some more colors coming out. I am keeping it for 10 more seconds for you to please give your responses. So whatever, I think a couple of us have seen it white, some kind of a white tint. Rest, I think little bit of bluish, gray, black, and all those things. Purple and black, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. Okay. And I think when we talk about this, what is this role play all about? When we meet students, I think they come up with difference and diverse kind of answers. So we have to try and understand that diversity, and let's see what exactly is the reason why different professors are maybe mentioning either similar or a little bit different colors. So this was I think the slide that we saw, and when we talk about what exactly the color or colors of the dress, the answer happens to be, you see, hidden in this particular picture once again, if you watch carefully. Is it white and golden? Is it a little bit of blue, blackish, or maybe gray or some other color? So that is what I asked you. And the kind of responses that we saw, I think we are seeing a difference. Whether it is a little bit of whitish, some of us are seeing it a little bit of golden, brownish, all those things. So this is a part of a famous kind of a research study. I hope many of you might have come across it and you are aware about it. This theory is based on the fact that our brain's two hemispheres functions differently. And it first came to light in the 1960s, thanks to the research of neuropsychologist and neurobiologist and famous Nobel laureate Roger Sperry. And why is it that different people say the same picture and interpret it differently? Those whose right side of the brain is working, they will see the color of the dress mostly as blue and black. On the other hand, if the left side is working, they will see it white and golden color. So this is the beauty of this famous, I think, a kind of a research which was conducted, and we can understand it in this particular FIP also, that some of us at least saw a little bit of white, and maybe if there are more respondent, I think it could also give us some other kind of colors as we move on. So on that note, I think what is the takeaway from this? If we try and look at this, the takeaway is the next slide, which we try and look forward. The takeaway for academician, this is very, very important. For the last almost an hour or so, I think what exactly we are trying to hit at. The main thrust of the last 1 hour session was focusing on this, the roles of academician in 21st century. I think irrespective of our domain, whatever discipline we represent, I think these are the three common things that we need to try and remember, the roles of academician in 21st century. The first one talks about interpersonal role, and I think we all are hopefully aware about it, and we are doing exceedingly well. When we talk about interpersonal role, means how we gel with other people, whether they can be our colleagues, they can be our higher authorities, they can be maybe our junior colleagues, they can be maybe a student fraternity, they can be even different kind of parents, guardians, outside stakeholders, and maybe many more. So that talks about interpersonal role that we need to try and perform every day. Then comes, I think, our informational role. As academician, we all are engaged in a lot of academic activities, and also many a times administrative work also. So that talks about dealing with lots of information. So as an academician in the 21st century, we need to be very, very good with our informational role. Not just about maybe completion of the syllabus, setting the lesson plan, preparing question, moderation, corrections, evaluations, submitting research papers for journals, presentations, and maybe getting projects, guiding our scholars, everything. So that talks about lots and lots of information. So how good are we? How comfortable are we in that? So that talks about informational role of academician in whatever discipline we are there. And the final one is we all have to take decision. And for the last almost an hour, you see, I have given you the opportunity to try and experience all this. When it comes to interpersonal role, without even unmuting, I think I have already having a good kind of a communication with all of you, and the credit goes to you all that you have made me feel very comfortable for the last 1 hour with your positive responses and very, very thoughtful observation. Information, we have tried to analyze maybe how many Fs were there, or maybe what exactly the color of the dress we saw. So that talks about analysis of information, irrespective of our background, whether it's history, geography, mathematics, pure science, some other humanities, management, commerce discipline, or something beyond. And then we have given decisions. Some of you have written there were 3 Fs, some of you have given 4, some of you have said 2, 5, whatever. And then color of the dress was either blue, black, gray, little bit of greenish, purple, whatever, white. So that talks about your decision. I hope we got the clarity about roles of academicians. I will put that in the chat box. Wait for a minute and then please give your responses. So kindly just put a response if you are having clarity, because we are actually doing it, I am confident, daily, but just with the help of a little bit of role playing and all, we try to connect the roles of an academician. Please check the chat box if you have clarity. I hope you will agree that these, apart from many other roles, I think these are the three broad roles as academician we have to try and perform daily in our workplace. So kindly just check the chat box and give a quick response as we look for your response and try to take the session forward. So quickly give a response and then we will try and move forward with another round of role playing. So please give me a quick response and then I will try and take it forward. Yes, I can see my question is there in the chat box. So I hope you will be able to give me a yes, no, roles of an academician if it is clear. If you saw the three roles, I repeat once again, first one was interpersonal, then we had informational, and finally decisional role. The fastest response this time is coming from Dr. Vijay Lakshmi. Thank you. We are following it up with Professor Arundhati Ganguly. Thank you, ma'am. Professor, I think Eliza Sara is there. Thank you for your response. Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay, yes. Professor Bora is saying, Professor Aditya is saying yes. I hope we all connect with it. Professor Priyadarshini is saying yes. Professor, yes. Sanasam is saying yes. Professor Priyanka, thank you. You're also writing yes. Professor Tanushree, my question was, are we having clarity about roles of academician? Just check little up in the chat option. I think already some answers are there. Hopefully it is somewhere lost in those answers. So if you think the roles are clear, Professor Hazarika has said yes. Thank you, Professor Parveen. Yes. Professor, yes. Ludi had said yes. Thank you. I think Professor Abu Taher had said yes. Thank you all for that response. And I think since we all are warmed up and going great, I will just talk about the next example, which we are all familiar with. And aapko kya karna hai? You have to guess. There will be a couple of clues which will be given to you. Please listen carefully. The first clue mein agar pata hai kiske bare mein we are discussing, you have to take the name. You have to put that name by writing one and hyphen the name. We are actually looking at a famous personality, and I'll give you at least 4 or 5 clues. If you want to answer on the first clue, just write one, and if you identify the person, write the name. And if you think, no, I need another clue, I think I will wait for 10-15 seconds and then show you the second clue. On that second clue, if you want to answer, if you can guess kiske bare mein baat ho raha hai, so you can write number 2 and give your answer. That way we will move forward. I hope it's clear. Can we see a few raise of hands? Because we will try and identify a famous sports person, and I will provide you some clues, and you can change your answer. Mind you, it's not the agar aap first clue mein de denge, baad mein aap change nahi kar payenge. So you are most welcome to change your answer multiple times, but please try and give the response maybe many a times. So that is what I will expect. I can see a few hands are up. If anybody else who are hearing the brief and you want to take part, I think a very simple one. Chat box mein aapke likhna hai ki who am I? I am putting that question. You have to identify who is this famous personality. So I am writing who am I? So we have to identify this famous personality jiske bare mein shayad we might have heard of. So wait for me to give you the clue, and I think I can see a few hands are up. Can we expect those who are in the position to raise their hands to please do it once again, because pehle se shayad koi hand up tha. So now I am seeing around 8 hands which have gone up. 9, yes. A few more. Yes, we have touched double digit, and so at least 10-12 people are there in the session to yes, raise their hands and give me a confirmation. Thank you. So we will go ahead with that role playing, and each clue will be there for 10 seconds, and then you can change your answers multiple times also. So let's start with the first clue. And here comes, I think, that particular celebrity jiske bare mein we are talking about. Life is a journey, you see, and as we were discussing about today's session, it's about taking this journey forward. So let's travel together. So life is a journey. And when we talk about this journey, so we are talking about a famous sports personality, and it's a journey of our life. So let's see. The first clue talks about she was born in 1988 and was a national level volleyball player. If you want to guess, write number one and take a name. We are talking about a national level volleyball player. I'll keep it for 10 seconds and then we move on to the next clue. In the meantime, I'll check the chat option if anybody is writing any name out there in the chat option. So the question is, who am I? And I think any name with the first option. As of now, I can't see anybody. Yes, so we move on to the next one, next clue. So let's see the next clue. And as I said, you can change your answer. It's not that once you have given, you cannot change your mind. On 11th of April 2011, she was traveling from Lucknow to Delhi. So almost 12 years back, I think this famous sports personality was traveling from Lucknow to Delhi by train. So that was the second clue. If anybody is trying putting any names in the chat box, write two and give your answer. Else we move on to the third clue. You see, she was thrown out of train by robbers when she resisted them. A tragedy struck, and I think a life-changing moment. You see, nobody can even touch or think of this happening to any of us. So, and a young volleyball player in her prime somehow stuck with this tragedy. And I think then what happened? You see, that is what I think the session is all about. Her leg was amputated below the knee and two rods in the other leg. So we are talking about life's journey. We were talking about success and failure. We are talking about memorable moments. We are talking about also some kind of emotional turmoil, stress, and all. So this is what struck her. And I hope by now, at least few of you will be able to figure out who are we actually referring to. Look at the personality of this young sports person. In spite of all odds and this tragedy, the last point is important. She was determined to achieve something in life. And hopefully it talks about her determination, talks about her courage, talks about her personality and her attitude towards life. And the rest, I think, is history and we all know about it. So let's move forward. And I hope once I check the chat box, many of you might have got it right by now. So what is that she thought of? She decided to climb Mount Everest. Look at the mindset, look at the personality. And I think when she thought of it talks about her dream. We started off today with a dream. And what is that dream which will not let you sleep? That is what we discussed today. And she dreamt of climbing Mount Everest when that tragedy struck her. Was that easy? Is there any shortcut? You only told me no. On 21st of May 2013, she became the first female amputee to climb Mount Everest. And I think it took her 53 days of, or 52 days of tough climbing, you see. And I think eventually, I think she is a leading example about life, and she takes a lot of motivational sessions at different places and all. She was awarded Padma Shri in 2015, and I hope you all know and you have got it right, many of you. She is none other than Arunima Sinha, and she is really an inspiration for all of us. And I think when we meet our student, do a little bit of mentoring and all, apart from your own life stories, success stories, I think these are little things which hopefully we can share and make them feel a little bit positive towards their life, because many a times they might come and share that there are a lot of issues and complications in their lives. So I think life is a little bit otherwise. So we have to try and remind them about it. So this is a moment where she was handed over the Padma Shri Award by the then Honorable President Shri Pranab Mukherjee in 2015. I hope we all came across this, and many of us, I think, yes, like Professor, Dr. N.K.N. Krishnamurthy, thank you, sir, for that. You got it right. Professor Chara also got it right, as I expected. And Professor Shreya Mukhopadhyay, everybody, I think, whoever had given that answer, I think you got it right. So she is truly an inspiration. And I think I can show a raise of hands for all of you, those who are in the session. And if you are not raising your hand, please do that in appreciation of Arunima Sinha ji, and also for some of our esteemed professors who have got the answer correct. So that will be a mutual appreciation, and I think wonderful. So in that way, I think we can try and move forward. So life's skill and life's story journey. This is what we have been discussing. And when we talk about this, I think for life skills part, this will be the next slide. For the last almost 1 hour, 15 minutes, what exactly we were discussing is, to sum up with this, is this one. And I hope you will understand with these little case studies, role playing and exercise, what exactly is life skills. The first point of life skill is talking about thinking skill. So it talks about problem solving and decision making skill. We have solved problems of counting alphabet. We have solved problems of maybe figuring out about a famous sports personality. And then comes social skills. Social skills talks about our interpersonal relationship, our effective communication. So I think in the new normal, by way of raising hands, by way of maybe using the chat option, it has been a wonderful and effective communication which we had for the almost last 1 hour, 15 minutes. That talks about our social skills. And the third one, I think, what can be better than the case study of Arunima Sinaji, where we talk about emotional skill, managing emotion and dealing with stress. I think that is very important when we talk about managing emotion and dealing with stress. So this is a very three dimension that we remember about life skills. I repeat once again, we didn't talk of theory, but we tried to experience it in form of our journey in the world of life skills. One is thinking skill, the other one is social skill, and the third one is little bit of emotional skill. I will request all of you to kindly just check the chat option once again, and please give a response. Wait for my question, please, and then you kindly give your response. Kindly check the chat box, and you are free to write if you understood the concept of life skills. Quickly make use of the chat option, and I think it will be wonderful to get a quick response from all of you when we talk about life skills. I think that will be a wonderful way of getting a quick response from all of you. So that will be what I will request you to kindly make use of the chat option. The concept of life skills, if it is understood, I put that a request in the chat box. I hope my question is visible to all of you. Kindly just check. It might take little time. And then I think, yes, the concept of life skills, if it is understood. Ma'am, the three dimension, you didn't get it, Professor Shreya? Okay, I'll share it once again for all of you. The concept of life skills. 1 minute ruk jaiye. I think I will just try and share that with you all once again. Yes, after Arunima Sinaji's slide, I think, yes, it was here, and I will share you with you all once again. Just a second. Hopefully it will be visible now, and you'll be able to see the three dimension of life skills that we were referring to. The first one talking about thinking skill. I hope it is visible now. Once again, I'm sharing for all of you. Thinking skill talks about problem solving, decision making, and a little bit of creative thinking. I found out you all are very creative. So we talked about solving problem, as I said, with the help of counting the alphabet ape, or maybe identifying the famous sports personality. Second dimension of life skills talks about social skills. It talks about interpersonal relationship that we were having for last almost 1 hour, 15 minutes. And then in the new normal, also having an effective communication by way of chat option, as well as raising of hand, lowering it at the right time. And the third one, we talk about the case study of Arunima Sinaji. And in that way, we try to understand managing emotion and dealing with stress. I hope those who are able to see the slide, now you'll be able to confirm in the chat box that my question, I think, yes, the concept of life skills understood. That was my question to everybody. And I think, yes, I can now get a response. Yes, Professor Shreya is saying, yes, the slide is visible. Thank you. I think Professor Arundhati is saying, yes, yes, Professor Priyanka is saying yes. I think please give your response. And in the meantime, I think we will try and just move forward, and then we will try and take it forward. Yes, and I think when we try and move forward, the second portion that we were concluding now is about what we have been doing for almost last 1 hour, 15 minutes. So now comes the a concluding portion of today's session, which talks about a little bit of mentoring. And I hope when we do mentoring, we all are expert. Just a quick reminder for all of us. So when we talk about mentoring, effective strategies, I think it talks about the relationship. And here comes, I think we have already seen that funny video, and you have told me that trust is very important, transparency is important in all walks of life. So there should be commitment to each other between the mentor and the mentee. There should be trust also between the mentor and the mentee. And I think we all know that we should plan our goals. And I think we talk about smart goal setting that we all know. And roles and responsibilities should be clear, and we should collaborate for results. I think these are things when we go for joint publication, we guide our research scholar, we guide our students for some kind of a projects or maybe dissertation, whatever be it. So these are all things I think which we all know we do it, but just a quick reminder when we talk about mentoring. And when we talk about mentoring, and I think SMART goal, all of us knew about it. We should have specific SMART ka full form hota hai. We should have specific goals. We should have goals which are measurable. We should have goals which will be achievable, and something which is realistic, not maybe which is very, very difficult to aim for. And last but not the least, time bound. There should be a time specific thing in everything. So SMART goal setting is very important in today's context. And we talk about smart work, not just hard work also. So when we do the mentoring, I think we need to guide our student, tell them the importance of setting SMART goals. So that is also very, very important. I have a simple formula for all of you. Please remember this when we go for mentoring and classroom management that we do, I think, exceedingly well. It all starts with getting attention, whether it's an online class or offline class. So this is called the AIDA model. So we have to get the attention, and I think we have our own way of doing it. Second thing is we should try and show something, do something which will generate interest. And I hope you all do it exceedingly well. Third comes, once the students are interested, there will be an urge from within to know more. There should be a desire. And finally, I think the action. Action means what exactly we were expecting from them. Hopefully, they will live up to their expectations. So this AIDA model, please remember, which will be very, very effective when it comes to mentoring as well as class management. So when we talk about the last slide, and I think if we go in a clockwise manner, yeah, so we need to get to know our students. It can be a very big classroom, and then we have to create a learning environment, and then we have to establish classroom rules and procedures. Just like in the FIP, we have it, how we are going to interact. We need to try and get students' cooperation. And when I have audience like you all are very, very lively, very, very interactive, I think the job becomes very easy. Otherwise, we have to try and get students cooperation in the session. Managing the classroom is very important. How we go about managing the classroom activities by way of little bit of role playing, management games, or whatever way you want to do with videos, interactive way of communication. And then ultimately, we talk about finding the effective management style and maintaining discipline. Discipline is, I think, very, very important. So with this, I think we have come to almost the fag end of our presentation. And I think I just have this 3E from my last 20 years of experience. I try to maybe connect with this. First, we have to have the engagement when we go for a little bit of mentoring or maybe some kind of a classroom in whatever way possible. So this is a very simple formula which I try and practice. And you can also try, and hopefully you can also come up with something different. The second one talks about empowerment, which UGC also talks about. We have to give empowerment to our students, and we need to give them some kind of a roles and responsibilities during that session in whatever way we are taking it forward. And third, end of the day, I think there should be some kind of an enrichment. So by the time this is coming to an end, when we started off at 10 o'clock and around 11:30, what are the takeaways from this session? We came across life skills, we came across maybe a little bit of mentoring strategies and all. So how have we done it? With the help of a little bit of role playing, case studies, with videos, and maybe in an interactive way. So with this, I will like to conclude by saying that every successful person has a painful story. So every painful story hopefully will have a successful ending. So we have to remind our student, please accept the pain, whether it's for research or maybe doing some project or going through a particular course, and then hopefully get ready for success. So thank you once again to all of you, because I believe in it that life is very short. So enjoy life today. Yesterday is gone, and tomorrow may never come. So on that note, I think I'm really, really thankful to all of you esteemed professors for making the session very, very interactive, and I am really enjoyed every moment of it. And this would not have happened without, I think, Dr. Verma and Dr. Singh and the entire team at HRDC at Mizoram University, respected directors, sir, also. So thank you for this opportunity, and I hope we are right on time. And my mail ID is there for everybody. If anybody is willing, I'll be more than honored and happy to be in touch with you. So on that note, I drop the last message in the chat box, and I think I'll thank all of you. So thank you all.
Sir,
Yes,
Dr.
thank you,
Supriyo.
sir. I am
Yeah,
done.
yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for your very elaborate and very interactive session. From behalf of the HRDC, I would like to my sincere thanks, and hope in future also you will extend your services to us. So thank you so much, dear participant. Our next speaker already joined. Within 1 minute, we will start. So thank you so much, sir. You may leave now.
Thank you, sir. I leave with your permission. Thank you, Professor Singh, and thanks to all the esteemed professors. Thank you so much, Dr. Verma. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So